Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
Hi, I'm Jessica Faust.
And we are literary agents who have taken our popular blog to YouTube to discuss all things publishing. Today, we have a little bit of a rant. I think I'm probably going to rant. I don't know if you are. We wanted to tell writers, don't quit your day job. You probably saw that in the title. You're like, what the hell are they on about?
I think they say that a lot.
It's probably. So in one of your blog posts, you actually wrote, to achieve success as a writer, it is not necessary to quit your day job. In fact, I would encourage you to keep it as long as you can. Yeah. There are a ton of reasons why you would encourage that. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, it's the dream to be a full-time writer and quit your day job, and I get it. But, even we talk about this a lot. So if you get $100,000 advance for 3 books, you're thinking, fantastic, that's more than I make at my day job, I can quit.
Right.
Except if you're writing 1 book a year and you receive $100,000, that book is divided over 3 books, probably over the course of at least 4 years. And now you're making $25,000 a year, which is probably not more than your day job.
Don't forget agent commissions if you have an agent.
Yes, and then commissions. And hopefully, let's admit, hopefully you're going to make a lot more money and things like that. But this business is really up and down. And you could make that $100,000 now, but you're not even going to be eligible for a new contract for another 3 years at least.
And there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee you'll get another contract. Even if you do, there's no guarantee it'll be as big.
Or bigger.
There's definitely no guarantee it'll be bigger. And there's no guarantee you won't have to start over. So, and I don't want to put a big damper on your successful 6-figure sale, because you should absolutely celebrate that. But you should understand the realities of how publishing pays. So if you receive $100,000 advance, let's drop it to 10,000 because I can do the math better. If you receive that extra zero really gets me.
It does.
If you receive a $10,000 advance, it's paid over the course of usually at least 2 years, just because of the way publishing pays. I'm not going to get into a rant about that right now. We can talk about that later. But but you have to remember, you aren't getting paid that. It's not like somebody is buying your book. They're licensing your book, and it's an advance against royalties, which means you have to earn back that $10,000 in book sales. So you make that $10,000 this year. Your book goes on sale next year. It could be a whole nother year before you even start receiving royalties, if you receive any, before you're in that $10,000. Over time, in a successful career, all of that will grow and build on each other. Each book you sell will hopefully earn royalties, and the next book will earn royalties, and the next and the next. But it's not going to put you at $100,000 a year, usually with 1 check. You hear these stories of authors getting $2 million advances. But I will tell you that $2 million advance isn't paid in 1 chunk this year. That is,
in fact, the bigger the advance, it's almost like the more they break it down.
Yeah. So you could quit your day job probably on that, because, well, you could. You're probably making, it might even be broken down over the course of 4 or 5 years. You could probably still quit your day job, unless you don't know what happens after those 4 or 5 years.
So that's one thing that I think is often overlooked. Like, people see that big deal as the reason to quit, right? But the timelines of publishing are so unpredictable. So like you said, the higher the deal, the more likely it is that you're not going to earn out in your first royalty period. So you're not going to see royalty earnings right away.
Right.
You might not see royalty earnings until 2, maybe 3 years later. So you don't ever have that full picture of how much am I going to earn from this writing thing, right? Like, if you get a second book deal for another $2 million, I'd be like, all right, maybe I'm quitting. But I'm just saying.
I mean, or, you know, if you invest it really well, I'm sure there's going to be people like, well, if you invest it and plan really well, sure. But also the likelihood that our viewers are going to get $2 million advances.
Right.
If we have $10,000 viewers, maybe one of you, 10,000
Right.
viewers, maybe one of you. So so let's keep this into perspective that your advance is probably not going to pay the bills on a first shot or even a second, third, or fourth shot.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to bring up too is writing with the pressure of money, because it changes things big time. Writing with the pressure of money and writing with the pressure of deadlines can drastically change both your level of output, your speed of output. Like everything can change once you have that $2 million deal, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think that we can make those rash decisions as soon as we get that deal, because now if you have that second and third book, you haven't even started, but now they're worth $2 million. What do I write? Is it going to be as good as my first one? Is it not as good as my first one? Royalty rates could dip off. So royalty earnings, I keep saying rates.
The market could change.
The market could change. Exactly. So I feel like you can't forecast it completely.
No.
And I think what we're saying is not never quit your day job. Obviously, make the right financial decision for yourself and for your stress levels and your productivity. But you have to adequately understand your income before you can make that big decision.
And that is really the most important thing. And we have definitely done videos in the past on the realities of money, but understand what is getting taken out of your advance. Understand what it means to be an advance against royalties. Understand the idea of how long it takes to get a check. So, for example, you will likely get your first advance payment when you sign the contract. Well, you and I can agree to a contract today with a publisher. It could take 4 months.
Particularly now.
Yeah, before that contract gets signed. There's the negotiation, there's getting the contract from the publisher, there's the back and forth between your agent and the publisher. There's all these steps. So I could sell the book today and you could quit your job, but you might not see a check for 4 months.
Right.
Same with delivery. You know, it says in the contract, you are due a next payment on delivery and acceptance of the manuscript. Well, your manuscript could be due October 1st. You could spend the next 6 months working on revisions with your editor. Until those revisions are done and fully accepted, you're not going to get that payment check.
And so, updates can change. So
yes.
Look at the pandemic, perfect example. Your book is set to come out March 2020. And then all of a sudden a pandemic hits, your book doesn't come out until September 2020. That's 6 months without a check.
Yeah.
Is that 6 months? It's 6 months without a check.
Yeah, good math. Well done.
Quick, speed of light.
Yeah, so, you know, the truth is, if you know these, and these are great conversations to have with your agent. Like, I see what it says in the contract, but when do you think I can expect a check? Your agent's going to say, well, I don't know. And especially when it comes to things like the delivery and acceptance, you know, sometimes that can go really fast. Sometimes revisions can take really long. It really is hard to predict. Right. So being prepared for that unpredictability is what will really help you determine, you know, and maybe you'll get to quit your day job, but focus more on writing in different ways. But, you know, 1 book a year is not a lot, which is fine. That's what most people are writing. But in the grand scheme of what authors get paid for books, that's not a great annual salary usually.
Right. And look at the career span of your favorite writers, right? Like, it takes time to get to where they are. I mean, even the most, you know, prodigy of a writer who gets that $1 million deal on their first book, look how often their second book might take. You know, like, it might take longer because things change.
But most of them are not full-time writers only.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are definitely those who are just full-time writers. But there are a lot of them who are seemingly full-time writers, but they're not just full-time book writers. They have other things they're writing, or they run workshops, or they have podcasts, or they have other sources of income. They aren't just, I mean, I can think of best-selling authors who have a full docket of other things besides their writing that they do that generate income.
Exactly. Yep.
So
we hope this was helpful. We don't mean to be a bummer, just be realistic and hopefully keep everybody aware of the financial truths of publishing. So yeah,
It is possible to make a livable income as a published author. It's just that, like anything else, when you start your own business, which you are doing as a published author, know how much you'll get paid before you're willing to give up everything and depend on that income.
Yeah, it takes time. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next time.
Bye.